Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining in today. My name is Mehul, and I'll be presenting a quick overview of SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL. During the course of the webinar, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat, and we'll get back to you with the answers online or right after the webinar. Now, let me start by giving you a quick introduction about our solution. SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL is an agentless on-premise MySQL and MariaDB monitoring solution that gets up and running within a few minutes. It works with all the flavors of MySQL, such as MariaDB and Percona, and its agentless architecture makes it a cloud-ready solution as well. So you can even monitor your servers that are hosted on the cloud, such as Amazon AWS or Google Cloud. And if you're someone who wants to monitor and who has their infrastructure on premise, the tool is capable of doing that as well. So it gives you the best of both worlds. It's a cloud ready solution as well, and it can monitor your servers that are on premise. Now, the moment you launch SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL, it takes you to the overview page, like you can see here, which gives you a full capture performance visibility across the databases. You get to see total number of servers that you have registered with the tool in case any of these servers are down. What are the critical alerts and warnings associated with each of these servers? And you also get to see the top 10 running queries based on the total execution time. You can click on a particular query to see the relevant query details, such as the first seen, last seen, the average latency involved. And you can directly drill down to these critical and warning alerts from the overview page, where you would be able to see what these alerts are. And if you just click on this a particular alert, the tool would actually guide you and let you know that, okay, what could have gone wrong and what particular alert, why it is throwing an alert for you. And the tool also gives you an advice as to what you need to do to ensure that these alerts do not happen in the future. So all in all, the overview page basically allows you to avoid visibility gaps and helps you achieve faster issue resolution time, as it gives you a bird's eye view of your environment. You can quickly take a glance at your environment once you log into the page, see the critical and warning thresholds or alerts that the tool is throwing at you, and take corrective actions. Moving forward, we have the servers page. Now, this basically lists down the total number of servers you have registered with our solution. These are color coded as well. So a red color would indicate that you have certain critical alerts associated with a particular server. A yellow color would indicate that there are some warning events associated with a particular server. And a green color would indicate that your servers are stable. And like I showed a moment earlier, you can click onto these alerts to see what they are. You can drill down even further by seeing what was the threshold value that you had set and what is the current value that caused this particular alert. And again, you always have the advice given to you from the tool as to what you need to do to optimize your MySQL servers and prevent these alerts from happening again. Now, one interesting feature that can be accessed from the servers page itself is the disk information feature. Now, suppose as a DBA, if you're running low on space, server space, and you would like to do a disk cleanup exercise, in such a case, what you can do is you can use this particular feature that we like to call as disk information feature. All you need to do is select the server that you'd like to perform this operation on, click on these three dots, go to disk information. Once you do that, you will initially arrive at the database level, where you'll be able to quickly figure out what is the most busiest database that I have, what is the data size of a particular database, the total size, and if there is too much of indexing involved or not. Now, if you'd like to drill down even further, the tool actually allows you to drill down up to the table level. With just a single click of a button, you'll arrive at the table level, where again, you'll have all the important information required for you to figure out the top candidates when it comes to a disk cleanup exercise. So it is a very handy feature whenever you're running low on space and you like to figure out which tables and databases I need to clean up to make some space on my servers. Okay, so moving forward, we have the dashboard feature. Now, this is one of the most loved features of this solution as it has all the charts that indicate the health of your MySQL environment. Any spike in these charts could be a good indicator of bad performance. You can look into these particular spikes and see the corresponding that queries that ran during the selected time frame. For example, we have a chart here called table logs. If you just expand this particular chart, you will be able to see the corresponding queries that run during this particular period of time that is actually causing these spikes to happen. And you can even click on a particular query to see the relevant query details. Now, the tool helps you even further. Not only you'll be able to figure out the culprit query that is causing a particular spike in your MySQL environment, we have something unique that we like to call as a query explain. With, as you can see here, the query explain is basically the tool's advice to you in the form of an optimized query. So this is the query that ran during the selected operation that caused this particular spike. And this is the optimized query that is actually the tool suggestion to you that is just telling you to use this particular optimized query to prevent these spikes from happening again. You can take this suggestion, optimize the queries as the tool is suggesting you, and you can just prevent these spikes from happening again, which would keep your MySQL servers optimized. Now, this does not end here. Not only you get to see all the charts that would indicate the health of your MySQL environment, what we also offer is the ability for our customers to roll out their own custom dashboards. All you need to do is click on create new dashboard, give it a name, and enable the parameters that you would like to see in a particular chart. If you'd like to see everything, every single detail possible, then all you need to do is enable all these parameters and click on save. Once you do that, you'll be able to roll out your own dashboard, which will have all the charts that you feel suits your MySQL environment. That would basically help you uncover the problematic queries and the details that is causing spikes in your environment, and which essentially helps you figure out optimized servers. Now, the reason we allow users this flexibility is because we believe one size does not fit all. And a lot of our users, they would like to do a lot of charting and trending for a lot of MySQL matrices. So that flexibility is with you. You can roll out your own custom dashboards and see all the relevant information that you are trying to look for. Moving forward, we have the monitors page. Now, SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL gets shipped with more than 600 plus best practices monitors and advisors. The moment you install a solution, these monitor groups constantly monitors the health of your MySQL environment and provides you with timely alerts and advices before things go wrong. So this is also the tool's way of doing proactive monitoring for you. So like I said, the moment you install a solution, these monitors group would get to work. They would start monitoring your MySQL environment and provides you with timely alerts and advices before anything goes wrong. Now, there are two interesting things to note about the monitor groups. Firstly, all these monitor groups are not just simple plugins. We are business partners with MariaDB, and we work with a lot of DBAs who deploy our solution on the field. And all these 600 plus monitors and advisors have been assembled over the past years with the help of their feedback. So we constantly update these monitor groups that our customers and the actual users in the field uh, think would help keep the MySQL environment optimized at all times proactively. So that's one interesting feature. Thing to note about the monitor groups. If you just hover over to a particular monitor, it basically tells you what it does. For example, we have a monitor here called available, which tells us whether or not the tool is able to connect to MySQL. So in case the tool is not able to connect to MySQL, you will get an email alert notifying you to take certain action so that uh, the monitoring is in place and you can do what you need to do to keep your MySQL servers optimized. Now, this is one interesting feature about the monitor groups. The second interesting feature to note about the monitor groups is that the underlying code or the logic behind each of these monitors are not hidden from you. You can click on this any particular monitor and see the underlying code or the function that's running this particular monitor. And because the underlying code is not hidden from you, you can customize these monitors to your heart's content. If as a DBA you feel that you want a particular monitor to work in a different manner as it is used to, all you need to do is update the function over here, go to alerts, set the alert condition with the critical and warning threshold, and all you need to do is enable notifications so that every time a particular monitor which was customized by you, every time a particular threshold value is crossed, you'll immediately receive an email alert notifying you to take corrective actions and make sure that these monitors are up and running as they should be. So, like I said, these are fully coded and gets to work right the moment you install our solution, and they constantly proactively monitor your MySQL environment to make sure that you will be advised and notified before things go wrong. Moving forward, we have the real-time monitoring session. Now, real-time monitoring is something you need when you're trying to figure out what's happening in your MySQL environment in real time. So suppose I'll give you an example. So suppose if you have been getting a lot of email alerts between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. every single day, and you want to figure out what's happening with your MySQL environment during that particular time frame. In such a case, you can start a real-time monitoring session. I've just loaded a safe session to show you how the information layout looks like. So real-time continuously executes a bunch of queries on your servers and fetches all the information and matrices, such as you get to see the total number of queries that ran during the selected time frame, what were your most busiest tables, databases, what were your slow query logs, what were the log tables, logging queries, and things like that. Now, since all of this information is retrieved in real time, you get to see what your servers are up to at any point of time. Another example where you could use real-time monitoring feature is that, to give you an example, suppose if you're trying to figure out how a particular query would scale into the production environment. So all you need to do in such a case is to set up a staging server, run some queries and operations on it, and use the real-time monitoring feature to fetch all the details which you would be able to using the real time. That would help you understand how these queries would scale in the production environment. So a real-time monitoring feature is very beneficial because sometimes you need to have high fidelity monitoring in place, particularly for a specific debugging exercise. So you get to see what your servers are up to in real time, and you can quickly and take corrective actions to make sure that the performance problems are no longer there. Moving forward, we have the query analyzer feature. Now, this is one of the most powerful features of SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL, as it lets you capture queries using multiple endpoints. Sorry. You can analyze the slow query log, the general query log, and we have something unique which we call the sniffer. Now, the slow and general query logs are something that MySQL itself provides. What we have developed as an on-demand feature is the sniffer feature. You can use the sniffer feature if you'd like to do non-obtrusive query analysis. I'll get into what I actually mean when I say non-obtrusive query analysis. But the sniffer feature actually works with two different modes. Let us first see what these different modes are. These modes can be accessed from the server's page. So all you need to do is select a particular server, click on these three dots, click on Edit Server, and under Advanced, you'll see the sniffer feature. Now, as you can see here, there are different modes under which the sniffer works. One of these modes are performance schema mode. Now, I talked about non-obtrusive query analysis. If you're someone who is trying to do non-obtrusive query analysis, what I mean by that is, if as a DBA you are trying to figure out every single query detail, or if you're someone who's trying to figure out or capture queries that take less than 1 second to execute, If you're someone who's trying to do that, you should keep the sniffer mode as the performance schema mode, because once you do that, the tool would be able to fetch every single minutest details of a particular query. So I'll just show you how the information layout looks like. So we have already configured the master server under the performance schema mode. So as you can see here, initially you get to see top 5 running queries based on the total execution time. And down below, you will be able to see all the queries that run during the selected time frame. One interesting thing to note here is that you also have the option to go back in time and see how these queries were performing. So for this particular instance, I've selected the time frame for the last 7 days. However, if you're trying to figure out whether the problematic query is sporadic or acute, you have the option to go back in time as long as you want and see the relevant details. Now I talked about non-intrusive query analysis. What I meant by that is if you're someone who's trying to look for every single query detail, and for that you need to keep the sniffer mode as the performance schema mode, which we have done here. And as you can see here, you can see certain details of a particular query, such as the total time, average latency, whether or not the query is doing full table scan or not, the first scene, last scene. If you're someone who's trying to look for more, all you need to do is click on show hide columns over here and enable all the parameters that you'd like to see for a particular query. Once you do that and click on apply, all these details would start to populate over here, and you will be able to figure out the minutest details for a particular query that you are looking for as a DBA. So that is the advantage of using the sniffer mode under the performance schema mode. Now we have one other mode that a lot of our users like to use, which is the uh, give me a moment while the data loads. Okay, so the other mode that a lot of users like to use is the process list mode. I'll show you how the information layout looks like when the sniffer mode is selected to process list mode. So as you can see here, the information layout pretty much looks the same. You get to see the top 5 running queries based on the total execution time. You also get to see all the queries that ran during the selected time frame. However, if you're trying to look for additional query details, which you could under the performance schema mode, you will find that there are very limited query details available for you under the process list mode. So one might wonder, or one might have this question, that what is the advantage for me to use the process list mode if I'm not able to see all the relevant query details like I could under the performance schema mode. So I'll show you what the advantage is. Let's go back to the service page. And under Sniffer, as you can see here, we have configured this server under the process list mode. Now, the advantage of using the Sniffer mode under the process list mode is the ability for you to monitor long running queries. As if you scroll down, you'll see there is an option to monitor long running queries. So all you need to do is set a certain threshold value. So say, for example, if as a DBA, you know that the queries that would be ran on a particular server should not take more than 10 seconds to execute, and you have set a certain threshold of 10 seconds over here. So in the event, if a particular query is taking more than 10 seconds to execute, which could be termed as a long running query, the tool can actually take corrective actions on your behalf. So every time if the tool is taking more than the threshold value, sorry, if a query is taking more than the threshold value to execute, the tool can either notify you via all these notification channels. It can write to it, syslog, Slack, SNMP traps, or the traditional emailing system. The tool can also kill that particular query for you. Or if you're someone who's trying to do both, the tool can do both, take both of these actions where the tool will actually kill that particular query and at the same time send you a notification telling that a particular query was killed because it was taking more than the threshold value to execute. So this is the advantage of using the sniffer mode under the process list mode. There's one more flexibility that our tool offers for DBAs wants to use the sniffer mode under the process list mode. And that flexibility is, suppose as a DBA, you figure out or you know that, okay, I'm going to run some operations wherein I am already aware that there are certain queries which would take more than the threshold values to execute. And I do not want the tool to take actions on my behalf because I'm aware of this behavior. So in such a case, all you need to do is filter out these queries. Under the ignore queries column, you can just type in that particular query that you feel would take more than the threshold values to execute. Or if you know that a certain user is going to execute a bunch of queries, you can just filter that queries over here where the tool would just simply ignore queries run by a particular user or a host. So that flexibility is also there with you wherein you can make the tool work for you the way you want. And you can just simply ignore these queries. And for the remaining queries, if there is if the threshold value is crossed, you'll immediately get an email alert. So since this is the advantage of using the sniffer mode under the performance schema and the process list mode. So the query analysis feature is, like I said, is one of the most powerful features of the tool as it helps you uncover problematic queries, which allows you to spend more time onto the queries that yields the highest value rather than shooting in the dark and waiting for the performance to go horribly low. Moving forward, we have the audit log feature. Now, in the recent years, there has been a marked need of more sophisticated tools due to the increased internal and external security and auditing policies. Now, MySQL implements auditing via native plugins. These are fully configurable and may record database activities in a variety of formats. The resulting log can be read directly, or they can be analyzed using our tool. Once you analyze the audit log, it provides you a summary of failed logins, what are the failed events, if there were any schema or data changes, and things like that. And you'll also get to see what change took place and by a particular user or the host, and at what time these changes took place as well. So all of this information is accessible to you in an easy to read tabular format. And this particular feature is very beneficial for big companies where they have a big DBA team and who would like to audit all the activities that are being carried out in their MySQL environment. Moving forward, we have the server configuration feature. Now, this is again one of the most loved features of SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL because it gives you the option to track and compare server configuration. This is pretty unique to the tool, and no other monitoring solution in the market currently provides this capability. To help you understand, let me give you an example. Suppose if you have two servers, server A and server B, both have the same setup, both are similarly configured, and they both are sharing the same load. But one of them has performance problems. So the underlying cause for that performance problem could be a change in the server configuration. Using SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL, you can see a side-by-side comparison of your server configuration. So say, for example, this is the overview which you get to see between two servers and all these configurations. And with a single click of a button, you can only see the changed values. So as you can see here, with a single click of a button, you'll be able to see the changed configurations. You do not have to go through the overview one by one to see what changed. You can do that with a single click of a button. And you also have the option to not compare these server configurations, but also you track these changes. So once you toggle from compare to track, you'll be able to see that the last change that happened with the configuration in my master server was on October 29th, 2020. So this gives you a very fair idea of what not only what configurations were changed, but also at what time, which helps you quickly figure out what changes need to be done in order to make sure that my two similarly configured servers are optimized and are behaving as they should. Moving forward, we have the replication overview page. Replication page basically allows you to view the replication hierarchy of your MySQL servers, along with the details of each of the replicated servers to make sure that the data is up and running at all times. You can click on a particular server to see its status, or you can toggle between these two modes to see the underlying details. Basically, it will tell you whether or not if there's a lag between the master and slave servers, if the slave servers are stopped, or if the slave servers are not connected. These are again color coded as well. So a green color would indicate that your servers are stable. A yellow color would indicate that the master and slave servers are not in sync. And a red color would indicate that your servers are not connected. Now, since this is a demo instance, we have just kept a master slave setup over here. However, the tool also supports multi-master and multi-source replication. So this brings us to the end of the session. I would like to conclude by saying, if as a DBA, if you're on the lookout for a complete monitoring solution that covers all the phases of MySQL and MariaDB server monitoring, wherein you are trying to do proactive monitoring with the help of the 600 plus monitors that the tool gets shipped with, or if you're trying to see what your servers are up to at real time, you can do so with the real-time monitoring feature. Or if you're someone who would like to do a postmortem exercise, go back in time and see what could have gone wrong in your MySQL environment using the query analyzer or the dashboard feature, you should definitely consider SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL. We offer our customers or any interested clients a free trial for 14 days, which can be accessed from our website, webwork.com. All you need to do is click on download free trial, and you'll be able to download a free trial for 14 days without any credit card information. And during the course of the trial, my team is there to help you out. We do offer free technical support and a free customized demo session as well if there is a need for it. So feel free to give SQL Diagnostic Manager for MySQL a try. And if you have any further questions, you can directly reach out to sales@idera.com and we'll be happy to help you.